Greetings. Mr. Liu, Deputy Secretary, the Shandong Provincial Party Committee, Secretary of the Qingdao Municipal Party Committee. Mr. Liu, Deputy Mayor, Qingdao Municipal People's Government. Mr. Zhang, Vice Chairman of the China Council for Promotion of International Trade and the China Chamber of International Commerce. Excellencies, ambassadors present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I thank the China Chamber of International Commerce for this invitation to address a very important event. The Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or the RCEP agreement, presents an opportunity for strengthened trade and investment relations and enhanced regional integration, allowing participating countries to accelerate towards the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals and the implementation of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. This agreement has been described by Premier Li Keqiang as, and I quote, a victory for multilateralism and free trade, end of quote. Indeed, with the entry into force of the RCEP on 1st January 2022 came the establishment of the world's largest free trade area. The agreement sees a new center of gravity emerge, comprising 30% of global GDP, trade and population. Data from the World Bank shows that the RCEP will cover 2.3 billion people, $25.8 trillion of global GDP, $12.7 trillion of global trade in goods and services, and 31% of global foreign direct investment inflows. As the global economic power shifts to the Asia Pacific, spillover effects from the RCEP also have the potential to offer benefits for participating and non-participating countries. The entry into force of the RCEP reflects well on the commitment of its participatory countries, including member states of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations and ASEAN's free trade area partners, to resolve political and cultural barriers and thereby keep markets open. A report published by the UN Conference on Trade and Development said, and I quote, "The agreement could help revive post-COVID economic growth, boost intra-regional trade and investment links at a time of global trade tensions, and provide a framework for further regional cooperation," end of quote. This analysis, ladies and gentlemen, is encouraging. The United Nations and its system in China stands ready to assist participatory countries realize this international agreement. We always stand ready to offer the United Nations expertise and technical support to ensure this multilateral partnership, as with any other, aligns with relevant international norms and standards, including in the areas of labor rights, human rights, and environmental sustainability. In supporting the implementation of the United Nations Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework for the People's Republic of China, the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, with technical support from ILO, or the International Labour Organization, the United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, and UN Women jointly organized the second SDG RCEP seminar on the 30th of August 2021 with a focus on labour management. Participants included key associations, enterprises, civil society organizations in China. The activity is part of an ILO-led activity on the capacity development of Chinese institutions in the integration of sustainable labor standards for international engagement. I also want to take this opportunity to once again congratulate China for the ratification of the ILO Forced Labor Convention and the abolition of Forced Labor Convention recently. In March 2022, a new initiative titled Promoting Responsible Business Conduct of Chinese Overseas Investment for the Contributions to the Sustainable Development Goals were also launched by UNDP, UNICEF, ILO, and UN Women. These efforts focus on engagement of Chinese companies in overseas investments and businesses via a scoping report, a stakeholder mapping exercise, a handbook, a training, workshops, and above all, implementation of pilot projects. The United Nations Industrial Development Organization is also contributing through its mandate to support the United Nations member states in achieving inclusive and sustainable industrial development. Recently, the UNIDO Investment and Technology Promotion Office in Beijing and the Embassy of Sri Lanka in China co-organized a UN, China, South and Southeast Asian countries triangular cooperation on trade and investment facilitation empowerment training event. This training seeks to enhance understanding of Chinese standards, provide market access, bolster trade and investment cooperation between China and Sri Lanka as well as other South and Southeast Asian countries. Ladies and gentlemen, at a recent high-level political forum on sustainable development, the United Nations Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Guterres said, and I quote, "Our world is in deep trouble, and so too are the Sustainable Development Goals. Time is running out, but there is still hope." End of quote. Through the contribution of the agreements such as the RCEP, it is paramount that we now renew multilateralism, accelerate our progress in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals in the region, and make sure that we leave no one behind. Together, we can realize the vision of the 2030 Agenda for a more just and sustainable world. Thank you very much. 谢谢。